One day, God told Jonah, a prophet and messenger of God, to go on a special journey to the great city of Nineveh. God wanted Jonah to go tell the people to stop sinning and obey God. This big task made Jonah afraid because the people of Nineveh were the scariest people in the entire world. Jonah was so afraid that he made a foolish decision. Instead of obeying God, he ran away to the port city of Joppa, which was in the opposite direction of Nineveh. Jonah hoped that God would forget and ask someone else to go. When Jonah arrived in Joppa, he found a ship that was going to sail to the city of Tarshish, which is even farther away from Nineveh. Jonah thought this was a great idea, so he paid for his ticket, boarded the ship, and settled in for the long ride. Hopefully, he would be rid of God's mission, rid of Nineveh, and God would use someone else to bring his message. How foolish Jonah was to think he could run away from God! While on the ship, a big storm broke loose. Everyone on board thought they were going to die. In an effort to help keep the boat floating, the passengers started throwing anything they could get their hands on overboard, but nothing helped. The ship was tossed in the ocean, and the waves were getting bigger and bigger. All the sailors started praying to their gods. Finally, the captain came to Jonah and found him fast asleep below the deck on the ship. Maybe Jonah had a god that knew how to quiet the storm. Maybe Jonah could pray to his god and ask for help. Angrily, the captain shook Jonah awake. "What's going on, you lazy sleeper? Don't you care that the ship is about to sink? Hurry and get up here! Ask your God to make this storm stop!" Jonah was in no praying mood. He knew that God had sent the storm because he didn't do as God told him. Up on the deck, the sailors decided to roll dice to see who was to blame for this storm. In the end, the dice all pointed to Jonah. Jonah then told the sailors that he was running away from God. This made them even more afraid. "Just throw me into the sea," Jonah told them. "If you do, the sea will become calm." The sailors did not want to throw him overboard, but everything they did to save the ship didn't work. So they threw Jonah overboard. As soon as Jonah fell into the sea, the storm stopped, and everything was peaceful. The sailors knew that Jonah's God was the true God, and they started worshiping him. As Jonah sank deeper into the dark water, a big fish appeared and swallowed him. Jonah was so afraid and thought he was going to die, but God had other plans. This was not the end of Jonah. As Jonah sat in the dark, squishy, stinky belly of this big fish, he had time to think, pray, and get things right with God. He prayed, and he knew that God would save him. For 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah stayed in the fish's belly. After 3 days, the fish was done with Jonah. The fish spat Jonah out onto the beach, and then swam away. There he was, stinky, alone, and washed up on a faraway beach. But Jonah knew this time that he had to obey God. He had to go to Nineveh and tell the people there God's message. This time he went, but not with a good attitude. He was really grumpy and still a little scared. Even so, he told the people of Nineveh about God's message. "Stop sinning and return to God, or you'll all die," Jonah told them. Jonah hoped they would just keep doing what they were doing and that they would all die. He still did not like these Ninevites. To Jonah's surprise, the people of Nineveh listened to God's message and became very sad for having sinned and acting against God. For days they cried and prayed, asking God to have mercy on them. God listened to their prayers and forgave them. When Jonah saw that God was not going to punish the Ninevites, he became angry and he complained to God. "You sent me all this way, and then you don't even punish these evil people." Jonah left the city and went out and sat on a hill that overlooked Nineveh. Jonah still hoped to see God destroy it. As he waited, God caused a plant to grow, and it gave Jonah a bit of shade. The next day, God caused a worm to destroy the plant shading Jonah. Without the plant, Jonah was unprotected from the sun, which made him even more mad and grumpy. Jonah lost his temper and said to God, "It is better for me to die than to live." Then God spoke to Jonah and said, "Is it right for you to be angry for the plant? You're sad for a plant that you did nothing to make grow because it provided you with a bit of comfort. Should I not pity an entire city of people who don't know right from wrong?" Then Jonah knew the lesson God wanted him to learn. He fell on his knees and started worshiping God. As he did this, he realized that God was a God of mercy and love. God wanted to teach Jonah that when people stopped sinning and obeyed him, he would forgive, protect, and bless them.